Welcome back, everybody, to our Apex Challengers promotion matches. It's Super Week. We had our winners matches yesterday. We had two teams advance directly into Apex, and today we're going to have two teams knocked into Challengers. I'm Wolf. With me is Achilleos, and we are ready to bring these two best of 5 to you guys tonight.
Now we are, and there's some heavy implications here for a couple of these teams. Rhinos, Gaming Titan, and MVP Space, two current Apex teams up to get knocked out and into Challenger for the first time. We have LW Red looking to earn their way in after their loss that they suffered at the hands of Runaway, knocking them down yet again. But they do have one more shot right here. If they can win this best of 5, they'll move on to the consolation match, and if they can win that, then they will make their way into Challenger, or into Apex, and not be in Challenger any longer. But
Right.
It's a really tough spot to be in because it's two more best of 5s potentially for these guys. They have to get through each other. We'll be starting things off with LW Red versus MVP Space. Both teams looking pretty questionably weak. MVP Space, we sort of expected maybe they would improve since we hadn't seen them for so long, but it seemed like they hadn't really done much. And LW Red, it is a little bit harder to gauge where they're at because Runaway beat them, and Runaway looks excellent at the moment.
Exactly. The big story for me tonight is, as you guys know, this tournament is basically up and down. It's promotions or demotions, really depending on who you're looking at here. Space, when you saw Space come in during our little intro earlier where everyone's walking up towards the stage, you see a team that has one of the longest standing Korean sponsors really in modern day. MVP, they've got jackets, they've got sponsors, and you see Luxury Watch Red walk on the stage. Everyone's wearing T-shirts and sweaters, and no one really has the backing there. No one has a sponsors. One of the players just has a sweater that has the logo on the top right. I think he probably custom made himself since he's the only one who's wearing it. And that's the big story here because, are the sponsors sponsoring the right teams? Are the right teams in the Premier League in Apex? Tonight we're going to find out as, this big org, this big backing comes up against really just a grassroots group of guys, 6 of them. And if they win it, and they do deserve better sponsorship and better representation moving forward.
Yep. Well, as you can see on your screen, we're currently on to day 4 of our tournament. Just one more day. Tomorrow will be the consolation matches, and we'll figure out who the last two teams to make it into Apex will be. An update on the bracket. Runaway did qualify their way in as they took down Afrika Freaks Red. LW Red and MVP Space about to square off. And the winner of that will go on to face Afrika Freaks Red, and the winner of that best of 5 will make it into Apex, and the other team will be in Challenger.
That's right. No way out of this one. You lose this series, you go through a whole another season of Challenger to hope you go into the Season 3 promotion matches. So basically that's where we're at right now. So for Space, not taking a single map in Apex and then coming to this looking fairly weak in their opening match. A little bit worried for them. Here's Group B, of course. Infinity, did get knocked out by Meta yesterday, and the decider matchup between the winner of Rhinos and Mighty AOD, which will happen later on this evening. It'll be our second best of 5. They'll go off against Infinity in that final match on Friday. Shouldn't talk too deep about this second group in the match with Infinity, so we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But the second matchup tonight, Rhinos versus AOD, should be a much closer series, I think, than the first one, based on what most people are expecting.
Yeah, I have to agree with that one. When we saw Rhinos in the meta square off, we kind of expected the meta to be able to dominate, but it was actually significantly closer than we had anticipated. Mighty AOD getting taken down by MVP Infinity, and then Infinity losing pretty handily to meta tells me that it's probably going to be Mighty AOD coming in at a loss almost as far as the mechanical skill goes as they get ready to square off against Rhinos Gaming Titan. But that being said, a lot of our expectations have been completely shattered throughout this tournament, Wolf, so I'm not really sure what to expect from that second match. But the first one, LW Red versus MVP Space, we have to pretty much assume that LW Red is going to have the upper hand. Space looks completely lost in these games. They're not playing the meta. They're not just performing well individually. There's no cohesion. It just seems like overall they're completely at a loss.
It really does, and this is their last chance. This is their last test. Who knows if the roster will stay together if they fail here. And to be frank with you, Achilles, I feel like if they lose here, we might not even see them make it through Challenger. So that's what I'm most worried about, is just the level of improvement I expected to see was not there. And Luxury Watch Red has been around for a long time, and they're one of the up-and-coming teams that people expected to actually defeat Runaway. Even though they failed to do so, they're still the favorites here.
Yeah, you have to certainly think so. That is going to be a really big factor of that is going to be the two DPS players on this squad, Nanohana and Pine. We saw Pine popping off, trying to carry as hard as he possibly could in their match versus Runaway. Nanohana as well, doing what he could to contribute. But overall, the big weaknesses that came through from this roster came out of Bohm and Awesome Guy. Their tank lines seemingly unable to do anything to protect the remaining members of LW Red, so they couldn't enable the DPS to actually survive long enough to kill the members of Runaway. We're going to see if they've improved on that, or if MVP Space is just going to be a considerably weaker opponent for LW to take down. But you mentioned we don't know if MVP Space is going to stay together if they fail to qualify. The same could be said for LW Red. They already have a sister team qualified into Apex, and we saw how good that roster was. When you take LW Blue and then you plug Nanohana in, you could very easily bring in Nanohana, put Pine on as a sub perhaps, and then run any of those two plus Sabiolbi as your DPS, and you probably have a really strong roster moving into Apex Season 2. Space, a bit more on the line because they don't have a sister team locked into Apex, but it seems much more likely that Infinity will be able to achieve that than Space.
I would say I think the weak links here for MVP Space are Kuki and Daily, as Climax really unable to find damage or consistent positioning in the matches we saw from them going on to our opening day. Xenocide as well, we're trying to force the Roadhog on Hollywood we saw on the attack there, and really didn't show the ability to switch all too much. I mean, Xenocide actually one of the largest hero pools in hero use in this tournament. He plays Zarya, D.Va, Genji, Roadhog, and he'll sometimes run the Tracer. So he plays a lot of different heroes, but doesn't feel like he excels at any of them, which is a bit concerning. You know, when you look at a large hero pool like that, if you are on a winning team, if you're on a high-tier team, that list looks impressive. But if you're unable to accomplish anything with any of those heroes, it suddenly feels like you're really desperate. Lijiang Tower will be our King of the Hill map to start off on. We're going to be jumping into that one very shortly here. And this is going to be the first taste, really, of how this matchup is going to go. I do expect heavy control by the Luxury Watch Red here, starting off on our first point, whatever it may be. They seem to be the better roster. They have to prove themselves here. If they can't defeat Space, they definitely do not deserve to be at Apex.
Yeah, that is for sure. I'm going to have to keep my eyes out on Climax on MVP Space. Has only played two heroes so far, Soldier 76 and McCree. 9 times locked onto Soldier 76. So really playing that very meta-heavy DPS carry at the moment. But the side of LW Red with Pine, he's coming in. He's already got 4 heroes under his belt. And Nanohana has him bested with 5. So there seems to be much more versatility on the LW Red roster, and I think that that's going to help carry them through this match, let alone just this King of the Hill that we're about to dive into.
All right, well, let's dive into it right now, Akilas. We're going into game number 1. Here we go. Lijiang Tower running us off the night market as LW Red and MVP Space Climax again on the Soldier. We have seen a lot more McCree being used on Nepal specifically, but not so much this King of the Hill map.
Yeah, we've only gotten Lijiang a couple times. I think this may be our 3rd out of all the matches that we've seen so far. So definitely hasn't been one of the more popular ones picked. We've seen Ilios and Nepal both more times, I do believe. But you can see Space right now. Going to be going for that triple tank composition with the D.Va, the Roadhog, and the Reinhardt. Going to be looking for picks, try to get that hook in. Just a single DPS from Climax on that Soldier. Again, not really changing things up, but we're going to have a dive comp coming into LW Red. Nanohana running in on the Tracer with Pine coming through on his Genji. Yep, the awesome guy already going to jump into the back, trying to get some damage in. Golden Knight coming out on the Nanohana. He's going to snap back with the recall. Almost gets the kill on a Xenocide, but he gets the heal in just in time. It looks like MVP Space might be able to cap this point first.
Yeah, they will cap it first here, and this is such a tough point to break, actually, with this dive composition. If they control the point first, they have so many tanks to actually help you, basically stop you from getting in there and harassing with the backline. So very difficult to break this position right now. Nanohana, as you can see, desperately trying to poke from the side. He does find a small opening there, but he can't do enough. Gets a pulse bomb, drops it in. We'll get the pick onto Undyne, and that's important. That's all their heals gone there. Or half, I should say, with Self still available, but that's the big heal you want when you have this 6-man group up, is that AoE heal. And he looks to get the second pick here onto Climax, tries but fails. But even that one pick alone wasn't enough for them to actually continue to push through.
Yeah, I mean, having Self still available, had to wait a little bit to throw out the Biotic Grenade, was able to use it onto himself, so he won't be able to use that aggressively to get the heal deny and a little bit of damage in on the members of LW Red. But overall, that's going to be a very firm hold coming through for MVP Space, 43% on the board at the moment. And LW might have to be rethinking this dive comp. You can see that's already going to be Winston jumping in. Awesome guy popping the ultimate, going to try to be shoving anybody from MVP Space out, but so far it's just been Climax going down. 2 members of LW falling as Pine and Nanohana did fall. They are able to get that Winston in the end, and MVP Space look like they're going to hold firm on this. They might be able to push this just to 100%.
I think so. I think it's going to be 100-0. It's time to rethink this dive comp. As you just said, really not finding a lot of success. It's important to get picks with the dive comp in the neutral zone of King of the Hill, where you can actually fight out in the open. You get the kills there, then you can control and actually harass people approaching the point. But if all 6 get into the point, it's so difficult to approach, you know, with these divey heroes, with the Tracer, with the Genji. We see Nanohana switching to the Mei here desperately. Didn't even get to see a Dragon Blade, but so it doesn't look like a very successful attack here. Pine gets pushed away.
It takes a hell of a lot of damage trying to get through that Discord orb for Reinhardt, but just can't find it. Kuki's going to get healed back to full now with Bump. Awesome guy and Starkey going down. Big Arcane attack him onto that as well. That's going to be LW getting held out. You can see the clock ticking down in overtime. Pine desperately trying to get in there to buy some time, but Climax finishes him off on the Soldier 76. And now it's going to be all about chaining for LW. See how long they can hold on, but it's not looking too hot.
Buff was trying to get his self-destruct inside. He's going to drop it up into the air here. Salad barrier is already used. There's the Transcendence to block as well, as LW Red tries to make their final push here. Self-destruct is expired now. Nanohana on the point, trying to get up onto the high ground here. They do have this one last chance, but Climax uncontested will actually, go down by Awesome Guy there. Awesome Guy does get that important pick. Maybe they can actually turn this around. It looks like they will. Daly and Undyne, the only 2 left. Daly trying to buy time here, going to lose his mech, and it will actually just suicide off.
Wow.
So they do take it here at the very end of all things. And I think a lot of that goes to Nanohana's good time buying there on the high ground, also slowing everyone down, getting the freezes off to get those picks. The most important pick really was the kill onto Climax, I'd say. When they got that one, the damage was really removed. When you run the solo DPS triple tank, looks like damage is gone. When all 5 members of your opponent, or all 6 in this case, are there, you can't really kill them quickly enough because you just don't have the damage to.
Yeah, but now it's only 25% for LW Red. They have to hold all the way to 100% and keep MVP Space away. Really crucial pick onto Kuki, the only member of MVP that currently has an ultimate available with that Earth Shatter. So a good pulse bomb by Pine to open up that pick, and that should stop MVP from pushing in now and buys them a little bit more time. They'll have to build up some of their own ultimates. Nanohana at 75%. If he can get out of the Blizzard, that's a massive control ultimate that they can use to keep the hold going. They get an isolation onto Kuki, are able to finish him off. Awesome Guy gets slept, hooked back in, and he will fall as well, so just going to be trading those Reinhardts.
You can just see how much more Pine is able to do while everyone's trying to approach the point while his teammates hold it, as Space is getting harassed non-stop trying to approach. Bum has this defensive self-destruct here. He will get hooked and in fact loses his mech before he can use it. That's a big problem. He's actually going to have to regen it here. And he drops that down. We do see the Earth Shatter comes up. Climax does have this tack visor. He is going to use it as best as he can. We see the Blizzard come out as well. Climax gets taken out though. 3 down to 2. Can Space retake this? There's an ice wall here. Kuki on top of the point. Xenocide gets the pick. Looks like MVP might be able to retake this.
Yeah, they're currently in it. That's going to be Bump coming back in with the mech, but he's going to get popped immediately as Reinhardt gets the hook in. He can't deny that with a right click. And now into overtime. Yet again, they're going to have to just try to buy as much time as humanly possible. Pulse Bomb comes through, finds Kuki. That's going to be the Transcendence, keeping them alive for the time being, but now it's going to go down. Earth Shatter coming in, finds Climax, won't get the pin. He's going to get charged off the point. A beautiful boop by Undyne, coming up with a kill onto Awesome Guy, and that might have just done it for MVP Space. 4 members down. The rest of LW desperately trying to charge in as best as they can, but now it's just Bum Starkey, the last one to respawn. He can't get there in time, and MVP Space come up with a first round win Undyne, such a clutch right click.
Right there, that boop just totally nullified that Earth Shatter. He was lined up directly to charge right into Climax. That's all the DPS gone, as I was talking about. He isolated that soldier as his target, and not only did he miss the kill, his Earth Shatter was wasted because he committed just to the one member there to get Climax. He killed himself in the process. Well, it's not really fair to say that, but his own charge was the death of his Undyne. Knocked him to the side there. Very clutch execution. Good reaction time there by Undyne. And we take a look at him right now. It was all him with the right click. And already Space takes the first point. This is going to be terrifying for LW Red. They were the favorites by fans' measures against Runaway. They lost that series very one-sidedly. And now they've already lost the first point against Space. They couldn't make the dive comp work at first. They lost too many percentages, but at the end it was just mechanically better team fighting by Space when it mattered most.
Yeah, and I mean, this is such a turnaround for Space from what we saw from them before. Now we'll see if they can close it out with a 2-0 on the King of the Hill. Started that one map up as we move into the Control Center. It's going to have a bit of a standoff in the middle. Awesome guy goes in for the charge. Take a little bit of damage, tries to keep that shield up, but it's going low. And Ahana building up his meter already at 67%, now 74%. So we'll have a Blizzard very soon. Might even have it up before anyone's even able to cap the point.
No, Genocide actually going to get nano boosted here, but immediately Starkey does Transcendence here. Genocide actually attacking the Reinhardt there, knocking him up and into the sky. Transcendence there, very useful initially to stop this attack here, but it's actually a very good ult use here by Xenocide. With him pushing the Reinhardt away, there's just free reign for Climax to do his damage even without a tack visor. It's almost a full wipe. Space will take control of the point again.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that we're still seeing Starkey sticking to the Zenyatta, despite the fact that it's not a full dive comp. There's only Pine on the Tracer, yet he's still going to be running the Zenyatta. Granted, it will help you get through these tanky members of MVP Space with a Discord orb, but he has to stay alive in order to do that. And so far, it's not been working out so well for him. And Ahana going to go in, drops out the Blizzard, will freeze up Kuki. Can they find the kill? It's going to be a big biotic grenade, giving them the amplification to help keep them alive. And now Climax has popped the tack visor. Going to find a kill on the Nanohana, and that's almost a wipe on the members of LW Red MVP Space. They will maintain control of the point, and they're pushing it beyond 40%.
Notice every time this happens, you see the tank goes down first. Once Awesome Guy is dead, that's when Space gets these wipes because Climax has left room to do damage. Diva's moved away. Awesome Guy's going to switch to Winston. They're going to do a full swap over. Starkey switches to the Ana now, looking for a nano boost on looking for that nano boost on Nanohana. Genocide here does get heal denied as Kuki coming in to look for a charge with a nano boost. Will get the kill on Arcade. And this is already a disaster once more for Luxury Watch Red. They need to build these ults, but they don't have that much time. 30% left to go, and Space will take this point and win the map.
Yeah, it looks like they might be able to get the cap in. There's only a couple members of Space sticking on to stop the take from coming through. They are able to find it as the rest of them peel back towards the spawn. So that's 78% gained for LW Red. Arcane going down as well, staggering that respawn from the Lucio is going to be pretty crucial. We see Starkey has swapped over to the Ana, has that nano boost available as you mentioned. So going to be looking to give Nanohana that boost with the Dragon Blade, but still has a little ways to go and won't have that Graviton Surge yet from Pine to line him up. So he's going to go ahead, pop that one, comes up with a double kill, a triple with the help from Pine, making a quadra as he takes down Kuki. Now it's going to be finishing off this Diva mech, and you can be damn sure they're going to go ahead and leave him in Baby Diva for as long as possible before finishing him off. Letting him run as far away as he can.
Useless here.
There we go, perfectly timed.
Pine gets the kill there as well, trying to get that Graviton Surge lined up with all the charge that Nanohana just gained. He's at 50% as well, so they might actually have that combo coming up a little bit later on to defend these pushes. MVP Space, on the other hand, they have Whole Hog, which is actually, to be quite frank, worked out a lot for them in this map already here on Control Point, or on Control Tower, I should say. Climax does have Tack Visor as well. They're going to look to isolate the tank first, but the Graviton Surge from behind. Self-destruct going to pair with it. Bum gets 2, and that means it's just a pretty solid hold from there on out. I don't think Space could actually commit. Nanohana actually gets kills through the doorway as well. And this suddenly turned around. LW Red nearly tying up the score.
Yeah, they only had to commit 2 ultimates and I mean the one from Bum should be coming back fairly quickly. Nanohana still has his Dragon Blade. We have Awesome Guy ready to go on the Winston. So LW, they do have a couple things to play around with, but MVP Space, they have that nano boost ready with the tag visor for Climax. See if they want to use it. That's going to be the boost coming through. There's the tag visor. Can he find a target, though? Nanohana with a big deflection, but that's going to be an Earth Shatter coming in. They lock down Bum, and it looks like he is going to fall. Almost goes down, but Nanohana now with the Dragon Blade coming in, finds Xenocide, and it looks like he's going to be able to take out either this D.Va or this Reinhardt if they stick around. They're going to try to hold on this point as long as they possibly can as we go pushed into overtime. Sleep Dart onto Kuki. That's going to be the self-destruct. Dropped in by Daly. Can't find a kill, but will jump back into the back. Big heal deny onto Kuki. A couple more shots would take him out, but the sound barrier comes just in time for Mundine.
All right, now they're going to actually try to use the sound barrier to actually push Space off. Kuki's actually knocked all the way off the point already here, and that will be the full cap here. So we are going to a third King of the Hill on Lijiang here. And be going to Garden, the third and final point to decide who takes this map. You know, I talked about lining up that Dragon Blade this time with the Nano Boost. They were able to build that quickly enough, so that was where things really started to go wrong in that last fight there for MVP Space, and they couldn't regain control of the point with only Climax or damage. And he was actually pushed away. The Primal Rage was attacking him, knocking him off of his heel, and there was just too much to mitigate that Tac Visor damage. And once that happened, that's when the Nano Boost I just described occurred, and that was all she wrote. I mean, you guys just watch it. I don't have to rehash the entire thing for you, but we're going to go into this third and final control point here to decide who's going to take this map. As we see, relatively unchanged composition. LW Red deciding to stick with that dive with the Winston and Nanohana on the Genji.
Yeah, awesome guy. Seems like he's been really favoring this one. Climax is going to go down really early as Nanohana is able to finish him off. That is going to be a big stopper in the push from MVP Space. You can see they're already peeling back. You know that they can't contest this first cap as he gets ready to come up in the next few seconds. So LW Red should be taking the first control over this point, but we'll see how long they're able to hold it. As MVP Space are going to be gathering themselves and looking to push back in.
This comp is really strong when you get the point first because you can use Nanohana to just poke and build up his Dragon Blade. Whenever they try to engage onto you, you just use that defensively. This is going to be that exact engage as MVP Space uses Reinhardt to shield here. Here's the Dragon Blade I just described, and now he's going to go. Oh. He does get heal denied, though. That's a good biotic grenade. Still with 6 health left, he lives. Awesome guy gets the pick, and he escapes for the time being. Nanohana, impressive Genji today here, gets away and is supported now up to full health. He's on fire, and that Dragon Blade did a number. Will MVP Space will be able to get this point, though? Looks like not going to be the case. Nanohana picks up 2, Pine picks up Undyne.
Oh. Good shot by Sylph. Won't be enough to, try to push in for this point, only taking out Nanohana at range. He will be able to rejoin the team pretty quickly. It's a bit of a special features hook that we saw there, bringing him onto the wall. Fortunately for him, he had his shift to dash back on, so he didn't just get killed by the environment. But yeah, Nanohana not really getting a whole lot out of the Dragon Blade itself on the initial cast, but building up another one very quickly just by throwing out the stars and getting multiple kills in his basic Genji form.
All right, we're going to see Pine actually get nano boosted here, just like we saw yesterday. Actually gets hooked in, though. Nice hook by Xenocide.
But Nanohana,
oh my god, he's going off. He wants to get the kill here onto the Roadhog as well. Actually gets hooked and will be killed by Xeno, so not enough there, but Space obviously losing their entire team before that happened. This is just a consolation prize. They're going to intentionally just sleep him and let him take a nap here to desync those respawns, and this looks like it's going to be a full cap here for Red. 10 seconds to go. MVP Space has one more push. Daily does have the self-destruct, and they do have Whole Hog, which could be quite a great zoning tool because of how much it pushes when you activate it.
We'll see how they're going to line these ones up. You don't want to push people away from that self-destruct. If you can push them into them, that would be the most ideal thing. Bionic Grenade coming through, going to be keeping Daly and Kuki alive for the time being as he gets an Earth Shatter up. Throwing out that Whole Hog on the back on the other side of the fight, locking up Pine. He gets a shield just at the last second, but Daly is still there to follow up. Big hook on the Nanohana, takes him out. MVP Space, they will find a cap at 99%.
Xenocide's Roadhog play today, much better than we saw from him just a few days ago, I have to say. I've been quite impressed, especially his hooks onto Nanohana here have really turned the tide of some of these battles. We saw that one consolation hook that didn't really matter, but it did, affect LW Red quite a bit. But that hook there really took all the charge away, all that DPS away that has been providing. And he's also had some really good whole hogs. This tag visor, a bit questionable, going to be using it right into a D.Va defense matrix. It will push everyone away, but they have so much more time they need to build. I think using it there was definitely a bit premature.
Oh.
Another hook!
That's going to be a really good energy shield coming out, however, from Pine, keeping Nanohana alive. The DPS brothers having each other's back as they move forward, but this is going to be a tough retake. Spooky still having that Earth Shatter. He can lock down multiple members. This will be devastating. Pine going to have that shield up. We're not going to get caught by that self-destruct. Throws down the Graviton Surge right in the last second, but he dies immediately afterward, and no one from LW Red can capitalize on that.
Yeah, it looks like maybe he was hoping that Starkey was going to be around to help him heal up. He actually right-click grenaded himself and died there, so you know, I think hoping to get that extra damage there and have enough healing to find extra damage, because he actually shielded almost the entirety of that self-destruct. He had a ton of energy, so if he had enough support there, just from his grenades and his, you know, auto attacks, he would have actually cleared that up, but he does not find it. Nanohana, though, will be nano boosted here again. He has the shield from Lucio, gets taken out by Kuki again, unable to find that value.
Yeah, there's just nothing you can do. It's going to be Awesome Guy popping the ultimate as well, trying to push everybody back, maybe get some environmental kills, but hasn't been finding anything yet. Climax goes low. He drops the heal onto himself. Should be enough to keep him alive. He does actually go down in the pack, but as you can see on the point, it's just Daly trying to buy some time. But the recap will come through. 99% for LW, 98 for MVP Space. Xenocide swapping over to this Tracer. He'll be looking to dash around as much as humanly possible to keep this overtime clock going. Doesn't have any charges, has to get back in there. It's just going to expire. Can't get there. Nanohana takes them out with the Soldier, and that will be LW Red taking the first map. Lijiang Tower goes to them 1-0 in the lead.
Very close series there, though, back and forth, and I have to say I'm pretty impressed with Xenocide today, as Roadhog's been looking a lot better. Wasn't enough to win them that last point, but if you're LW Red, despite taking the win here, you're probably a little bit nervous, thinking this was going to be a pretty easy best of 5 to get into that final match. You're really thinking about Friday, you're not thinking as much about MVP Space. We've seen a lot of teams give respect to MVP Infinity, but Space, on the other hand, not really getting any love in interviews either, but they look really strong today. I think they've definitely bumped up their training going into this one, knowing that they face relegation into challengers with a loss here. As we go on to our second map, see what it will be here. We saw Kings Row yesterday on Hybrid, and if I'm MVP right now, probably just discussing which map they like. We saw them fail on Hollywood on the opening day, with Xenocide really trying to force the Roadhog, but being relatively unsuccessful. They may go back to Hollywood again, as that was the map they chose.
I think it would be okay, given that Xenocide is actually having a strong performance today on the Roadhog. So I think that it would be all right if they want to go for that one.
Oh, it's not in the pool today, though, unfortunately. It's going to be Eichenwald, Numbani, or Kings Row. They're going to go with Numbani.
Okay.
This is a great Roadhog map, so maybe that's what they're looking for here.
I mean, we haven't seen Numbani yet at this tournament, so this is actually going to be the first time that we move on to Numbani. So we really don't have any gauge of how these teams are on this map. In particular, we've seen Kings Row multiple times. We've seen Eichenwald, but Numbani has been the one being kind of dodged around or just not picked by anybody so far. So interesting to see that they will finally lock this in when it's do or die time for both of these teams. So we'll get a little bit of a taste for how the Apex Challengers play around Numbani.
I'm excited to see this one. There's a lot of different strategy that comes into your defense setup as well with the staircase, but we're going to get into that, talk about that a little bit more as we get into our second map of the night here, Numbani for LW Red versus MVP Space. Welcome to Numbani.
We didn't get it.
We didn't get it, unfortunately, but MVP Space is looking to get it first. They will spawn on attack, and Climax is bringing out McCree, at least for the time being. It looks that way.
I mean, I think LW Red is going to try to give it to MVP Space, honestly. They did a pretty good job of it in that last map for Lijiang, but you can see a hell of a lot of LW Red fans here.
Yeah, even that's next level. You have a sign drawn of yourself.
That was
and you cover your face
so
on the
meta.
sign.
Holy crap.
That's how you do it. That's how you go one step beyond.
It is evolving. Oh, man.
Next thing you know, she's going to have her friend hold a sign with a picture of her face on it, and she's going to cover that while also covering her face with a sign of her friend's face. I hope you're listening to me, girl out in the audience. That's the plan. That's how you one up what you just did. But it is going to be LW Red grabbing the Roadhog this time. Pine, known for his good Roadhog play, and we haven't seen it yet in this series. And Xenocide is actually going to play Genji. So we talked about his large amount of heroes he can play. He's played Genji 4 times so far in this tournament. Definitely not to be his best hero and not his most played. Well, they want to run him on that, leaving Kuki to play the Winston. So Daly's going to stick with his D.Va, so it's going to be a 2-2-2 composition here. And we'll see what LW Red could do with Nanohana, this time playing the Soldier for that range DPS.
Good
on
shield
the
coming
defense.
down. Kuki, though, not going to have his shield as he dives into the back line. And we'll have Daly backing him up. Big hook from Pine on to Xenocide, takes him out. Going to be a very nice pick off there for LW, only losing Starkey in the exchange. Pine with another hook, just burning through the DPS members of MVP. And that's going to put that push
To rest.
to rest for sure. And see how Foam died, but looks like he might have fallen off the map.
Might have tried to resync there with his teammates. The reason why Roadhog is so strong here on the defense is you're really dealing with 3 points of attack, 2 on the high ground, 1 on the low ground. If you have a hero like Roadhog being played by Pine here as pictured, he could defend all 3 zones with this hook essentially, no matter where they come from. He knows. Now this is going to be a strong push up this staircase, and he is on the high ground right now. He could pick the hook to the first hero, and in fact he will. Oh, gets blocked by the pillar though. That's a bit unlucky.
Yeah, wasn't able to drag him onto the ground, which is exactly where he wanted to go. Isolate Xenocide and burn through him. So unable to find that. Pine fishing for another hook, doesn't get it. And they're just poking down, but honestly, this is just building meter for Starkey and Nanohana across the way as they just chip down on these members. Daly, he's going to go forward, but the mech goes low. He has to peel back, try to get as many heals as possible he can, but there we go. That's going to be the attack visor, and the nano boost thrown in for Nanohana. Already burns through multiple members and helps take out Climax as well. Starkey will get hooked in. Xenocide finds him from around the back. I swear, every time I look up, Starkey is dead.
Yeah, he died a lot as well in the first series. We were talking about that. He's positioning-wise not always the best. We're going to see this 1v1 here in the hallway. If anyone comes to make it a 2v1, I think that's going to be how we see this win, and that's exactly what happens as Pine comes through here, gets the pick on the Xenocide, who switched off of that Genji. But, you know, when you saw that last attack there from Nanohana, he was in better position. The Winston had already used his shield, his bubble, his barrier, so he knew that was off cooldown. The D.Va was nowhere in sight, so we got this angle from behind to get that attack visor to do a lot of damage. Then finally, we saw Bum come up and try to 1v1 him there, but it took so long, that's how he got those kills. He's got another attack visor ready for this push. 1 minute and 20 left on the clock. They really need to make this happen right here, right now. They have a lot of ults to pair with this. They have the nano boost again, and we are going to see them paired together with the sound barrier as they go in.
Yeah, they already took out Awesome Guy. It's going to be a really good start, but Xenocide has fallen. Nanohana taking him out as well, just working his way towards another attack visor. 70%, he should have it relatively shortly. And now Climax, stuck around the backside of the point, has to sprint away as the rest of his team is just getting burned through. Nanohana able to make it back into his E, also has Starkey there to back him up with that Ana, and now they have this D.Va all on her lonesome. They deny the heal. You know, even if she could have gotten one, long range if Sylph had been there. And then they finish her out, staggering those kills yet again, making sure they can't all respawn at the same time. And honestly, this seems like a problem. Like, so many members of MVP space getting caught around the backside of the point, and then they stick around for a little while, and then they end up getting killed rather than just jumping off the map, which would be the much smarter thing to do. But now MVP, they're going to be coming in for this last charge. 2 ultimates available.
Okay, Xenocide's got the whole hog. He's going to try to use it here.
Oh,
Pine gets
dear.
the hook on Undyne. Does get slept immediately. Nanohana using the attack visor actually gets knocked away by that whole hog, but Pine still asleep here. This could be their opportunity. Climax fails to get the kill there, though. Xenocide taken out by Bum. Climax is out of the fight. He's not even here. He's irrelevant. They've got 3 seconds left on the clock. We are going to see Daly come in to start that overtime. As
They're just
Awesome Guy
pushing them
charges
off.
in.
Awesome Guy just shoving them up off the point with that Winston ulti, and now you can see overtime coming down. That will be an ineffective push by MVP Space. They get shut out on point A. And now all Luxury Watch Red has to do is find a cap, and they will take map 2.
No, I wanted to really focus on Space picking this map because I was looking for a Xenocide. He picked Genji first, and then switched promptly to the Roadhog, where he wasn't really able to find as much success as Pine did. I really have to also highlight that Climax was just knocked out of that entire fight there at the end, where he needed to be there. Daly couldn't buy enough time. The target firing there from Red was good, and I do agree with what you were saying earlier about Space just not killing themselves essentially off of the point when they needed to resync their spawns. They were unable to do that, and I'm worried when it's your map choice on a hybrid and you can't even take the payload. You can't take that first point. LW Red, all they have to do is cap this point right here. I don't know what to call that device, that hovercraft that has the Doomfist in it. If they cap that, they win the map, and we'll go up to match point at the 2-0. Not a good time right now for Space, as they're going to be running Xenocide on the Roadhog again. Climax still on that Soldier. Undyne's going to be playing the Winston. In fact, they're going to go solo heals, no Lucio. And starts to feel a little bit desperate, I got to feel.
Yeah, this is not looking so hot for MVP.
This is like a solo queue game I'm watching right now. This is like a solo queue game I played on Nubani this morning, where I was the solo Ana, and I told everyone we should probably have a Lucio, but no one listened. The one guy switched to Roadhog, and that's Undyne in this case.
I mean, we've seen some wacky comps have success. We saw triple DPS just yesterday from the meta with a Lucio as the only healer. No Zenyatta, no Ana, so no long range, and they were able to make that work. But MVP Space, I don't think they can really play around with these interesting picks. I think they basically have to hard commit to a comp that they know how to play. And so far, we haven't really seen anything like this from them, so that has me worried for them as we move forward.
Okay, Nanohana is going to be, he's not going to go full dive here. He's actually going to play Soldier, so we're going to have Pine on the Genji. And Nano is just going to look to get onto the high ground. If he can control that, he can get a lot of picks here. Already the attack on the Xenocide is live here. Down he goes. And this is already a great start. Arcane gets the kill on Kuki off screen. Pine will need to get a heal up before he can really re-engage. But 2 down already. At least MVP Space can pick up the 1 kill here to retake the point. Nanohana left to his own devices. This is what Soldier does if no one's on top of him. And Daly is just ignoring him, trying to get the kill on Bum. Should be attacking Nanohana 100%. I can't believe he just let this happen. He almost let Nanohana get that kill. He does finally take him out, but who are you prioritizing, a Soldier or a D.Va out of the mech? Bad choices there by Daly.
I mean, if he had gotten the kill on the Sylph, that would have been pretty damn bad, but Daly at least finally turning around, getting the boop off on the Nanohana, knocking him off of the map. But
I guess that's some consolation there at the end of all things after that.
So it's still a strong hold, LW. Not that close to any of their ultimates. They already have a nano boost on the side of MVP Space from Sylph that they could use potentially on the Daly, who's about 84%. Now they're actually just going to throw it out onto Kuki, but he gets knocked down immediately. And he's just sitting there, that ultimate being burned through, not going to find any success. Dragon Blade out from Pine. Going to try to find the double kill. Will find one on the Sylph. Finds Undyne, who jumped in. Finds Daly as well. And then Awesome Guy is able to finish off Climax. 5 members of MVP Space have fallen. And I think that's going to be the cap right there. You can see everybody sticking on top. Nanohana with the PM emote. And that will be map 2. Going over to LW Red now 2-0 up. Match point. Just need one more to carry on to the consolation match tomorrow and knock MVP Space out of Apex and into Challenger.
You know, I started to get the feeling that Starkey was relegated onto heel role because his accuracy is so good, and he dies oftentimes because he is so aggressively positioned. I wonder if he was actually told to play heel when this team was formed, even though he was an ex-DPS player with how good his accuracy is. Those sleep darts were amazing. I wonder what kind of crazy dreams you have when you're nano boosted and asleep. Maybe a dreams of getting a team wipe and taking the point because they did not. MVP Space getting denied there. And it's going to be a 2-0 as we go into our 3rd map. We're going to take a short commercial break before then, but I think that's the time that MVP Space is going to need to kind of collect their thoughts, as this has been pretty one-sided. The first map, not as much, but when you go into your map pick and get that dominated that your opponents are styling on you, and that's when it gets a little bit worrisome. I was actually hoping we were going to see Pine play the Widow he's so famous for. But he switched off. No fan service yet in this series, but maybe they go for it more. We are going to take that short commercial break, though, guys. Before we come back, we'll see you in just a few. MVP Space is now one map away from becoming that team you just remember from the first season of Apex.
Remember, yeah, they were there.
Remember the team MVP Space that was qualified for the most prestigious Overwatch League in Korea, that didn't take a single map, in promotions and fell directly to challengers? Is that what MVP Space wants their legacy to be? Of course not, but if they lose here, that may be their future, especially with their sister team Infinity looking much stronger right now. This may just become the forgotten MVP roster, as MVP might switch rosters and get a better, stronger team if they lose here. And it's sad to say, but it's the harsh reality of this esport that's very new. And MVP Space, they got into the toughest league, but they don't deserve to stay there if they drop this next map. It's going to be on our 2-point capture. They chose Hanamura in their opening match. Will they do it again? They will.
Oh,
we are
boy.
going back to Hanamura. This is where we saw Undyne attempt the Torbjorn play. And we'll see if we see that again here. I'm a little bit nervous, to be honest with you, Achilleos.
All right, so I mean, we were kind of talking about it a little bit before we went to the break. MVP Space, they've been trying some weird things. You mentioned the Torbjorn that we saw last time around when they played. Completely and utterly awful. It was such a dumb decision. I can't even really sugarcoat it for them. But MVP, they need to stop doing these weird comps. I think that they need to just run a 2-2-2 because they have no standout players that are good enough to carry any one role. So I think that they just need to go with 2 tanks, 2 DPS, because Climax is not good enough to be a solo DPS, and Sylph is not good enough to be a solo healer. I think if you run a 2-2-2, then MVP's chances and Space's chances of success go wildly up in compared to what they're doing right now.
Well, they need all the help they can get. We'll see what they want to run here on this unusual map choice. They've done it now twice. It's Hanamura. Let's find if LW Red is going to close it out or if MVP Space can win their map choice and stay alive.
Really just kind of slipped in.
We faintly got it. Very faint getting it in the background there. So let's go on to Hanamura and let's take a close look at Space. Well, actually, they're going to be on the attack first. And we do see Arcane is looking to run the Symmetra here. So this is definitely a little bit less common, but definitely not as crazy of a choice. I mean, this is still meta. I'd say really off meta, but we do see it a lot on these 2-point captures. If you can get the shield generator or the teleporter up early, it can get you so much on the defense, can really weaken your opponent's time pool.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting to see which one we see Arcane go for. It's really going to depend on how aggressive the push is from MVP Space, whether or not they need that teleporter or the shield generator. Shield generator obviously going to be like the more desired one, but with a run back like Hanamura, I feel like the teleporter, if MVP Space are actually applying pressure to the point, they might need to go for the teleporter here from on the side of LW Red. Other than that, not really going to have any shocking picks coming through. Space still going to be running with that triple tank, Xenocide on the Roadhog, and Climax yet again on the single DPS. Like I was just saying, I just don't think that he has the mechanical prowess.
He's definitely no Saya player. He's no Nanohana. In terms of this tournament, I would have to completely agree with you there. I'd actually put the blame more onto Kuki, though, for being unsuccessful and allowing him the space to actually find damage. As you see, Space has all members alive here with this push. We see Xenocide trying to look for a hook, misses the hook, though. Arcane, heals blocked here. He almost has enough for either that generator or the teleporter. Against solo DPS, the generator sounds like a good idea. It makes it harder to kill with only 1 damage. Awesome Guy gets picked off. And we'll see what Arcane decides to go with here. He's doing slow amounts of damage, gets killed. And you know what? This actually could be a take from Space with the big damage here. The Symmetra just ends up being a mistake overall.
Yeah,
that's it.
Definitely a mistake, as you said. So, rough start, and you can see Symmetra, yeah, of course, going to be swapped off. No point in running that on the second point.
Yeah, that's a big hint, solo queue players. If you run in Symmetra, only run on the first point. I don't care if you got a teleporter. It's not going to matter on the second point. You better switch right away. Don't make me spam you in chat. Don't make me make you look bad. Just switch off after the first point, please.
I can't really even communicate with them since they don't really understand English when I'm typing to them, so I just have to say like Symmetra, no jam, and hope that they actually understand what I'm trying to say here. Well, MVP, they're going to be pushing it onto the high ground, have that sound barrier available, and Climax as well has the tack visor. Big Hook comes through Xenocide. Looks like he might go down a little bit more, and he would fall. They're actually not going to find it. Climax goes in with the tack visor. They'll try to burn through Nanohana, throws out the Helix rockets, but won't find a kill. And that's going to be Nanohana fighting back with a tack visor of his own with the nano boost, but won't be finding a whole lot.
Gets enough though. Nanohana doing some significant damage there. Climax had a big window of opportunity to find kills, but quick reactions by LW Red. Sleep Dart here to try to keep Ana alive here. Daily loses his mech. We'll save that self-destruct for later. We'll just go ahead and suicide. That's the way to do it. So Space definitely learning from their mistakes from Numbani earlier on. This is going to be a strong hold here from the first push, and because Climax and Xenocide both are now out of ults, the next push is going to be significantly weaker, and I'm liking LW Red's position. They had a really large time pool from that very fast cap because the Symmetra didn't get, any real... There was no payoff there. Didn't even get to use her ult, so
I mean, there's one of the things that I guess we should cover is that Symmetra can work. We have seen this at the highest level of play. This is the losers match of the promotion tournament. These guys are not the top tier teams in Korea, let alone in the world. So running something like the Symmetra is such a big gamble that it's just not really worth going for. So that's why we kind of hit it so hard. So if you're immediately a Masters player, then it's fine. If you're Lunatic High, then, go for it. Play Symmetra, play your heart out with her. But it's just not the best decision right here.
It's not off meta really. It's just it's a gamble. It always will be. If you can get the teleporter or the shield generator up early, hold off 2 pushes with it, then suddenly it's the best pick and you look like a genius. But if it doesn't work, you look silly, and then suddenly you're up against a 6:30 time pool. Xenocide goes for the suicide hook, gets the pick. In fact, nicely done there onto Bum. Kuki as well, falling off the side there. So I guess ends up being not the worst case scenario for MVP Space, but they definitely want to go for this next push, kind of reset here as a 6-man. Sylph doesn't have the sound barrier just yet. Kuki is so far away from Earthshatter since he didn't really get to build up any of his meter. This next push is going to be really flimsy. They really just need to use it to try to build meter so that they have those ults for the follow-up push that happens next. LW Red has complete control right now of the high ground.
Space, they're moving in onto the point. They have Daly and Kuki down here. Jumping in onto Sylph, gets booped away. So will not find that kill, or on the Arcane rather. He makes it out with his life, and Nanohana starting to rip through with that Mei, has the Blizzard available for ultimates, potentially coming out from LW, and it's just the tack visor there for Climax. Xenocide's a little bit closer, but there was a ways to go. Ooh, nice hook, though.
There was definitely a lack of, or maybe perhaps some disjointed communication from MVP Space, as the way Daly flew in there looked like he wanted to threaten his self-destruct, and he didn't use it, but he wanted to scare them. Hold that thought, as Nanohana is actually going to go ahead and drop the Blizzard here. This second push here from Space will be denied easily, as Nanohana is just popping off, right-clicking everybody. Self-destruct actually committed to this time, and then Bum will pick 2. And we see a later version of that from Daly, dodged here by the ice block from Nanohana. Does pick up Starkey. There's nothing he could have done about that, but this push looks to be held again. Nice ice wall. Nanohana carrying this defense almost single-handedly.
Yeah, will get popped out a little bit as he used the whole hog to burn through it, but overall MVP Space not going to be getting any ground onto the point, but they're starting to charge their way back in. Climax getting jumped on immediately by Bum, but the mech was so low, he's going to get popped out of it. Climax, he's going to be able to maintain this high ground. and keep just trying to shred down these healers at range. You can see he almost finds Arcane. He's able to make it out alive. Throws out the Helix Rockets. Won't find anything for his troubles. Sylph does get grabbed up as Pine snatches him with the hook. But overall, MVP, not a bad push. They're going to go ahead and find that first tick on the cap. Make that 2.
Yeah,
They'll
there's
have the
no
double checkpoint.
Arcane has to get on there. Okay, he will get on there. So does Awesome Guy. And they're going to start to push this away. Climax, though, on the high ground, looking to get this Tac Visor to get some kills. He gets nano boosted as well. Will commit here. As I say that, he backs off as we do see the sound barrier gets popped. He gets the kill onto Awesome Guy, though. It looks like this push may be held. No one else close by. Pine going to do another zoning hook here. And they get 2 slices, 2 checkpoints, if you will.
Oh, can he
It's
get
not
him?
enough.
Oh, there we go. Finds the hook.
Oh, nice hook there by Pine. Just going to go ahead and heal himself up. 1 minute 30 left. I believe these pushes from MVP Space are just so uncoordinated. It feels like they just respawn and go again. I don't want to be insanely critical, but it almost feels like a solo queue mentality. Okay, we all respawn, let's just go in. You see Daly several times try to threaten with his self-destruct to allow Climax to get into position, but there's no sound barrier. And then Whole Hog is popped after 2 are dead, and then suddenly you start to wonder, what's the plan here? Is there a plan here? Was there a plan? Everyone has their own individual plan, but it doesn't feel like they're working as 6.
Oh, Kookie, he's going to get isolated from that wall. They're trying to break through to keep him alive. Going to go ahead and throw on the nano boost just to get that damage reduction coming through, trying to keep him alive for as long as possible, and it's working out so far. Kookie's still going to be standing and almost has that Earth Shatter up. Meanwhile, Pine, he gets taken down. That's going to be a major pick for MVP Space. They drop the sound barriers. They're going to be moving in onto this final point, but that's going to be the Blizzard coming through from Nanohana, freezing up multiple members, has that self-destruct coming through, and Bum is going to be able to take out Xenocide and Kookie.
Okay, let's see if Climax can actually get any kills. No, he gets sniped by Nanohana while he's in Tac Visor. Just, as you said, not maybe the best guy to have on solo DPS. Making a mistake like that definitely hurts. You know, the Soldier with Tac Visor versus a Mei, how does that ever lose? Xenocide switches to Tracer here. He's going to try to actually make this last push work. 5 seconds left on the clock.
He already used the recall, though. Doesn't have any dashes. So sticking on top of this point is going to be very difficult for him. He's going into the back lines, trying to get onto Awesome Guy and burn him out while he still has that heal deny, but he won't be able to find the kill yet. Recalls yet again. It's going to land him straight onto the point, and the rest of MVP is going to be trying to pile in as best as they can. They're able to find Nanohana, Starkey, and Awesome Guy. 3 picks. Going to be very crucial for them. Can LW hold on? Pine swapping over to the Pharah so he can at least try to hover above the point and keep it in contention, but he goes down, and now it's really just going to be on an Arcane and Bum jumping around on the point with that Lucio. He gets pushed off. MVP, they only need a little bit more, but a big Earth Shatter comes through, knocking down 3.
Okay, Kookie down onto the ground. Will actually get charged into here. This barely survives. A self-destruct comes down, doesn't find any kills. Climax tried to use his Tac Visor, but it's not enough. They fail to capture, and it's just going to be a full hold from LW Red.
Daly didn't get on the point, couldn't make it back on in time, and that costs MVP. So LW, as you said, able to full hold point 2. But now they're going to need to take both points on attack if they want to close out this 3-0 cleanly without a tiebreaker.
This is going to be exciting because we saw on Hanamura last time, this is where we saw the Torbjorn come out from Undyne. I do not think we will see it again, but we saw it once earlier this week on Monday. Let's see if Space plans to throw this one out again. I think it's more likely we do see the Symmetra attempt or neither at all. MVP Space, Xenocide on the Roadhog, Daly on the Diva. We haven't opened the gates yet. Keep a close eye on Undyne. What's he going to show us?
If he locks in a Torbjorn, I'm walking off the desk. I mean that. Okay, there we go. So he's got the Ana.
All right.
Don't worry, you don't have to solo cast now. I
was worried. I was really worried, to be honest. Pine is actually going to Widowmaker here, it looks like. He might switch off. He showed it to us earlier on Yvonne and switched out.
When we saw Space playing that Torbjorn, the thing that really shattered their defense was actually a Widowmaker getting a pick onto him immediately, which just left the turret completely vulnerable. They burned through it and had no effect whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which that was, actually, now that I think about it. Doesn't come to me, but yeah, I do remember that specific game you mentioned. And I hope that this is going to be a better hold from Space than what we saw from LW Red, because that'll give them a smaller time bank to work against on the defense to try to hope for that tie. If they can full hold, that would be amazing, but I just don't think that's realistic. Especially given they're running a pretty standard comp. They're still dependent on Climax on that solo DPS, which you've disagreed with. Pine is going to commit to the Widow here.
All right, well, this should be a real treat for you guys. Pine making a name for himself as a Widowmaker player. See if he can line up any shots. Getting through Kuki's shield will be a little bit challenging.
Yeah, I mean, to put this in perspective, Pine is a popular streamer, got picked up as a programmer because Widowmaker play was so good, and he showed he could play other heroes very well. He's very famous in Korea for that, and famous abroad as well. All right, looking to line up these shots. The Reinhardt shield, waiting for it just to pop down for a second so we can get that shot onto Climax. Doesn't find it. Being very patient here. Now looks to be trying to aim through the window. Unfortunately, nothing really happening here. He's going to start chipping away at that Reinhardt shield. In fact, it breaks down. The whole point being captured already by Red. This is putting a lot of pressure with the Widowmaker in the back lines. Nanohana up on the front of the point. Space kind of totally pushed off right now. Can't even hold their own point. Essentially 6v5 with the Widowmaker removed. Well, dodges the hook like a pro. Going to come back in to do DPS from behind. Looking for the pick onto that Lucio. Here's the already Dragon Blade coming out. Kills Undyne, gets the nano boost, and this could be a wipe already here. Alone, he could do it. Gets 3. Bum helps him secure a 4th, and Pine is sniping in the background. And it looks like this is going to be a pretty quick cap. In fact, Pine's going to go ahead and go for point B. As Daly, the last one here with the Baby Diva out of the mech. And they're just going to transition.
Oh, there we go.
Snipe
All
on Sylph. There you go. Looks for the second one there onto the Reinhardt. Won't get it.
Finally able to line up a shot. Pine having some difficulties, but it doesn't matter. Nanohana just took the team and put him on his back. Beautiful flank, and no one from MVP Space was paying attention to the Genji, so he built up that Dragon Blade so quickly just by spamming right-click into the Dragon Blade with the nano boost on top from Starkey, and that was a very fast take on point 1 for LW Red. Now just need to close out on this second point. Have a couple ultimates to play with. Nanohana almost having that Dragon Blade yet again.
And he can go back in. Climax is dead. Pine got the snipe. He's very low. He almost has that Dragon Blade, as you just mentioned. Pine's going to go ahead and use this infrared. He might switch off soon. Just really gaining difficulty here to actually get picks. Nanohana actually gets locked down here by the Earth Shatter. It's an ultimate used really to kill one impactful hero, but
and that's fine. You burn out an entire Earth Shatter just to kill the Genji, who still has Dragon Blade. If he had popped Dragon Blade, then sure, maybe equal exchange. But I mean, only losing Nanohana for that massive Earth Shatter away from Kuki, who has been building these very slowly today. I think that's a very fine trade if you're LW Red. Should be okay with that. Pine still sticking with the Widowmaker, surprisingly. Still wants to play that forward onto this point B. But 3 ultimates there for LW, 3 for MVP Space. We'll just have to see who's going to use these better, because, I mean, there's that combo potential from the Dragon Blade and the Nano Boost yet again.
All right, he's going to go ahead and pop it. Out it goes. Looking for kills, actually gets pushed away by the whole hog. Xenocide actually locking him away here, wasting a lot of the time. Awesome Guy gets the pick. He does go down to Kuki, but that was actually good use of ultimates there to stop it. Pine's actually going to stick with this Widowmaker. Tries to get the snipe on the Diva out of the mech. Unfortunately, unable to do so. Will actually defeat her, though, 1v1. And, actually, I guess I spoke too soon there. It's going to be a trade. Daly goes down to Starkey, as Starkey was there. It was kind of a 2v1 at the end of all things.
Yeah, Starkey was focusing way too much on trying to kill Daly rather than healing Pine. Had he had that biotic grenade to throw out, could have just burst the Widow back up, kept him alive, and then maybe get some shots in from the sidelines. But you can see right now Pine thinking about it's going to be trading off onto this Soldier. So that's going to give them a firmer double DPS comp. The Widow, not sure how much you can really rope her into saying it's a 2 DPS. Pine wasn't really landing enough shots for it to be as effective as we've seen in some of our other games.
All right, looks like we're going to split through the staircase here. Climax gets the nano boost. Looks like he wants to actually drop it. No nano, excuse me. Looks like he was just being shocked there by the Winston. Tricked me there, but we do see the attack visor is available. He saves it. Winston actually used Primal Rage to come back in here and knock Pine out, in fact. See if we can find that damage here. He's got this wide open shot here right in the middle. Going to be the 1v1 with Climax. Climax absolutely wins that trade, backs off, and LW will have to set up for another push.
Yeah, but LW now 4 ultimates available. Pine 80%. We've seen how fast Nanohana can build this. We could just see a 6 ulti push coming through from LW Red. And MVP, they're a ways away. Almost have a sound barrier and that self-destruct, but Climax using that tack visor, he's going to have to build this up very quickly, which is something he's been unable to do so far in this set.
All right, tack visor here is still available for Pine. Wants to use it on the high ground.
Oh, awesome guy.
He's actually going to use this without any boosting. Okay, there's the nano boost. This is not with a Dragon Blade. Gets slept though. This is totally wasted. And in fact, he's going to go down there to Undyne. Nanohana still has his Dragon Blade about to finish, but it would have been nice to go in with all 6, as you mentioned, that they had available. But 2 wasted there. Awesome guy as well, as you were about to say, throwing away the ult there, the hammer. I don't know why I'm forgetting this word right now.
Well,
the Earth Shatter.
Well, he had gone in on the Winston and had the Primal Rage, but got destroyed immediately. There was no follow-up from LW Red, so a big divide in their communication for sure. And now we can see Nanohana actually going to be swapping around, moving over to this Reaper and Pine off the Soldier onto the Roadhog himself. We'll see how this swap-up is going to affect their push. But so far, it's been very strong by MVP on the hold. 4 minutes into this one already. Ooh, a bit of a stutter on that hook. Not going to find Bump. He'll be happy for that reprieve. Won't lose his mech quite yet.
Okay, Climax and Daily still have defensive ults they can use. There's going to be a nano boost here in just a moment as well. Looks like Bump's trying to set up to threaten a self-destruct. Self-destruct used against him first there by Daily, so that's already off the table. This is a good opportunity for Red to actually commit. They don't have Death Blossom, but look at the position here already of Bum. Going to try to take out Undyne here. Excuse me, Sylph. Trying to take out Sylph there.
Well, they do knock him down. It's going to buy some time. Now Nanohana getting jumped on by that nano-boosted Daily in the D.Va. Bum coming in, is able to find the kill on Undyne finally, but there's just no ground being gained really on this point. They do find the first checkpoint, but now it's 1 minute and 12 seconds remaining. One ultimate available.
Could actually be seeing that Sanctum tiebreaker. Starts to feel very likely here with one real opportunity left. You said the Primal Rage, came out earlier with Awesome Guy. He's now finally built up that Earth Shatter that I was struggling to say earlier. They're going to have that. They're going to have the big zoning, of course, of the whole hog, but no sound barrier, no tack visor. It's all going to be about that CC that comes out from Awesome Guy. They're going to try to pair it perhaps with the self-destruct. Oh, there it is.
That's a big Earth Shatter coming through. Awesome Guy knocking down several, but they're going to lose Pine and Starkey right off the bat. Kuki swinging away. Awesome Guy finds a charge kill on the Daily, but pays for it with his own life. And LW, they can't take advantage of these few kills that they got. They can't make it to the point. They're going to have to peel back. It's 20 seconds on the clock. It looks like MVP might be able to hold this.
Yeah, Kuki just doing some serious work there. He knew he was going to sacrifice his life for that, but it was taking the LW Red Song to kill him. He was very happy with the exchange, and LW knew it wasn't even worth trying to kill him anymore. They're trying to gather up for one last 6-man push. Whole Hog still available. It's the only ult they're going to have in this fight. 4 seconds to
big
go.
Hook.
Nice.
Yeah, landing onto Undyne, gonna pop the whole hog immediately, but now that self-destruct coming through behind him, can't make it behind the shield of Awesome Guy. He will go down. That's 2 picked up by MVP Space, but they lose Climax. And as you can see, not gonna be able to get an MVP. They will hold.
Full hold there. Looks like we are going to Sanctum for the tiebreaker. Be our first one, if I'm not mistaken, in this tournament.
Yeah, we haven't had one yet.
So
we're moving on to Nepal.
Based on what happened earlier, actually, on Lijiang, which was by far of our 3 maps the closest, this could still be anyone's game. For LW Red, though, if they win it, then the series ends. So Space, they had that close call there. They hold, but they are definitely not out of this yet. They have to win this control point. They won one already. The second one that was on Garden on Lijiang, they were very close to winning. And if they can actually just get their wits together here, have coordinated team fights, they can win this last control point on the tiebreaker. It is not going to be easy, though. Honestly, I feel like LW Red, they didn't come with standard comps on that last map. I feel like if they played a little bit more like what they'd shown us already on Lijiang and Nubami, it would have been a much easier map for them. But I don't want to say they messed around, but it just felt like they were running the Widowmaker and they were keeping it for a long time. They were not trying to switch until standard comps until the very end, or they were already basically out of time.
Yeah, I mean, holding it for the first push I think was fine, because at that point Pine hadn't died. He still had the Infra sight available to himself. But then dying and not swapping off the Widowmaker, it took him 2 deaths in order to swap off of that one. Definitely don't agree with that. I think LW might have had a different game had they swapped around a little bit sooner. But MVP Spaces buys them some crucial time Now going to have to try to win this best of one. And if they can do that, they at least stay alive for a little bit longer. They'll make it a 2-1 scoreline. They still have to win 3 in a row.
That they do. We are going to go into that tiebreaker, guys. This is what happens when you have a 1-1 score, 0 time pools. We go on to our tiebreaker on Sanctum from Nepal. Here we go. Actually, not going to be Sanctum.
It's going to be Shrine
It's
instead.
going to be Shrine, okay. Normally it's Sanctum, but perhaps changed here for this tournament in specific as we go into this one. So let's see what comps we're going to run into. 30 seconds till the gates open. Xenocide on the Genji. To be honest, it hasn't worked out for them so far. I'm a bit worried about that. It's going to relieve some of the pressure on Climax to be solo DPS, though. Kuki on the Reinhardt. And for LW Red, they're going to have Pine back on Zarya. And we're going to see this solo DPS Genji. And
Plus Climax made the basket.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. We actually haven't really seen Climax move over to the McCree yet. He's pretty much just been spamming this Soldier the entire time. And that's like his other big pick. He's played Soldier prior to today 9 times, McCree 5 times. Hasn't played any other heroes. Hasn't been going so hot for them, but
okay, here's
to turn that around.
Here's the neutral matchup here that you see. Climax not the solo DPS this time, but he is targeted down right away. Is killed immediately by Awesome Guy, which puts all the pressure on Xenocide, who is the next target. Nanohana, though, pretty free as a bird at the back. Does get the heal deny onto him, though. We'll pick up this health pack right afterwards to jump right back in. But still, definitely a better exchange here for LW Red in terms of DPS. Bum gets the kill onto Sylph here as well. And this is looking like a first point cap for LW Red. It's not over yet, but definitely looking in their favor.
Yeah, Space trying to hold on, but actually with that dash out, that might just be the cap going over to LW. There we have it. So they'll start stacking up. Nanohana's low. He's trying to avoid Climax as best as he can, but can't dodge around that pillar fast enough. Does have the Dragon Blade up for when he comes back. The rest of LW going to be catching up, but Pine on this Zarya, getting a kill onto the Soldier. He's going to have a Graviton Surge very quickly.
Kuki going to help everyone kind of back up, set up for the next push. Dragon Blade alone without any support is going to be tough to really commit to. He does have the Nano Boost now available. He's going to have extra shields. Nanoha's got his own, so he's going to try to probably patiently wait for that to expire, then counter with his to clean up and hold. 35% already ticked away as Bum is ready for a self-destruct in 2. Starkey about to have it as Nano Boost. It's almost going to be a 6 ultimate lineup. Xenocide, here comes the Nano Boost onto the Dragon Blade. Everyone's already split preemptively against this. Xenocide will get the pick on the Nanohana, which is huge, in fact. He gets the kill on Starkey as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a really nice pickup, and now the Graviton Surge coming through the self-destruct, being thrown down. Bum gonna find 4. Make that 5, I believe. Now as Xenocide goes down. Awesome Guy jumping in, trying to get through Daly, but he's gonna hop off the map, and man, what a wombo combo thrown out by LW.
LW Red was just way more prepared for the Dragon Blade coming in. They were already split, they weren't even in the center, and then as MVP Space got those 2 picks, they crashed in all as 6 in a ball, which gave Pine the perfect opportunity. No one was calling out, no one was warning, and the team was definitely not coordinated against that Graviton Surge. That's all they needed. 85% your Climax is going to commit here to the Tac Visor. Down very low, though, and is not shooting at anybody. Killed again by Awesome Guy. Awesome Guy on point with chasing down these DPSs today. Will be killed here by Xenocide eventually. In fact, the starts look like a good fight for MVP. Pine with a lot of energy here, 73, taking the damage away. But with that solid fight, Pine is just not dealt with. Xenocide goes down. Yeah, this is looking pretty bad for MVP. This is overtime. This is actually going to knock them into Challenger if they can't get anybody on this point.
Yeah, they have 3 here, Daly, Climax, and Undyne, but Undyne is going to fall as Nanohana rejoins the self-destruct to zone them off. They managed to tag back in just in time. Nano Boost over onto Daly, but he's already going low on the mech suit. It's 100 energy there for Pine. Will be able to pop it, almost goes down. Self-destruct coming in. Almost a cap for MVP Space. 99% still for LW. We'll see how long they can hold on. Pine just trying to find Xenocide so he can burn through that Genji. He's unable to do so. And that is going to be Bohm going down. MVP, they might have found the cap, and they do.
Kuki doesn't even have to use Primal Rage, so he's got that saved up here as well. Undyne's about to have another sound barrier, but look at LW Red's ultimates. Bum's got his self-destruct, Awesome's got his own Primal Rage. They're soon to have Nano Boost for Nanohana. Can MVP Space actually set up to defend, do what LW Red did against them? That's the key. LW Red was so ready for Xenocide's Dragon Blade. Will they be ready for Nanohana? Nanohana is just waiting for that Nano Boost. He is ready to go in. Already in position here to come from the side. Dashes in, there's a Nano Boost. Sound Barrier goes down to try to counter this. He actually gets healed tonight, but will take out Undyne as it happens. Gets two there. Climax coming in as well. Does get taken out. No Death Blossom. LW Red losing 4 already. Bum using the self-destruct. And I think that's actually going to be a hold again here for Space. Much better setup this time against that Dragon Blade.
It's going to be another self-destruct coming through this time. From the side of Boom, drops it, but won't find anybody. Sound Barrier coming back in, so LW, they do want to commit. Awesome Guy still has that Primal Rage. We'll see if he has to pop it. As he comes in, that's going to be the one coming up from Kuki, but he's not really getting anything done. Undyne getting chased down by Pine on the Zarya. The right click in to take out Sylph. Just that last healer, he goes down. Kuki's dead. This very well could be it for LW. They get the recap. Fly in comes in from Daly, but he's losing his mech very quickly as they try to burn right through him. And this is looking really good for LW. The clock ticking down. Can they make it inside? Pulse bomb from Xenocide finds a double kill. Takes out both the healers, but he still can't make it back in. And LW Red, they will complete it. That is going to be the 3-0.
3-0. Close call there on Lijiang and Hanamura as well. Very close. King of the Hill for the tiebreaker on map 3. It ends up being a 3-0 score. LW Red showing that they have what it takes to potentially go to Apex. They will need to win that consolation match there at the end in order to do so. Space just outclassed in every way there. Daly on camera trying to do everything he could to try to keep that overtime up. But MVP Space gets knocked out of Apex, will go down to Challengers without taking a single map win. And we'll, have to just wait and see what happens to this roster, this org, if they just simply get replaced by 6 other people or just completely disband because this, this didn't show us the games that we expected to see from such a long-standing organization. I was hopeful going into this promotion series that we were going to see a vast improvement from what we saw in Apex. It wasn't there.
No, it definitely wasn't. I mean, LW overall maybe looking a little bit weaker than most people anticipated. MVP Space able to give him a little bit of trouble there with Hanamura, with that best of 1. But these guys, as you said, are knocked out of Apex. They are into Challenger for the moment alongside their sister team MVP Infinity, who we'll be seeing tomorrow, as they will have their last hope to try to make it into Apex. But coming up next, we will have Rhinos Gaming Titan defending their spot in the league against Mighty AOD, who suffered a loss at the hands of MVP Infinity. We'll see who's going to come out on top of that one. Should be a bit closer, but as I mentioned, I think Rhinos Gaming might have the upper hand.
That they may very well. Before we get to take a look at that, we're going to take a short commercial break. No interview for the winner of the losers match. So we're going to jump to that commercial in just a moment, guys. Tell your friends to get in here, get in this stream as we go into our second best of 5 of the evening. See you then.